Heidi Cruz, wife of Republican presidential candidate Ted Cruz. Heidi, welcome. Good to have you here today.
Thank you, Martha.
Great to have you in studio with us. Obviously, New York has been a rough and tumble kind of race, as they were just talking about last night. Here's Donald Trump talking about your husband and the state of New York.
We're going to show Ted Cruz, who hates New York, when you look at that debate and you see the way he talked about us and New York values. Here's a man that turned down Sandy money for this state and plenty of other money. We had lots of things coming into New York, and he voted against. No New Yorker can vote for Ted Cruz.
Your thoughts on that?
Well, Ted Cruz loves America. He loves every single state in this country. And I'd like to remind the voters of this great empire state that Ted and I have both lived in New York and love this state and love the things that conservatives in New York are fighting for. So we have enjoyed our time here. We've been campaigning hard here. Our campaign's not dependent on any one state. And so we expect that we'll do well here tonight. And I'd like to remind your viewers, too, that Ted did very, very well in his home state of Texas. And so we'll see what happens tonight.
You know, when you look at the map, everybody talks about how April looks like a tougher map for the Cruz campaign. And then heading, Indiana, California, it might get a little bit better. When you look at what the Trump campaign is doing right now, they're sort of changing gears. It looks like they're trying to get better at this delegate game, which you guys have been so excellent at. Are you concerned about that? Because the Trump campaign has been sort of a lot of heart and phenomenon, and you guys have been, very well organized, very structured, and winning on that side of the equation.
Well, Martha, I think we've run a terrific campaign and continue to run a terrific campaign and all the aspects of it. Part of it's just having a fantastic candidate. And it's been easy for me to campaign with Ted because he's so good. Yesterday a voter said to me, "We want someone who's fair." This was a New Yorker who said, "We want someone who's fair. Ted Cruz is fair. He understands the Constitution. He's going to protect my constitutional liberties." And so part of running a good campaign is having a so blessed. The other part of it's having a fantastic team. Part of having a good team is the financial discipline to go the distance. We started this race with 17 candidates and so many good people. And I think a lot of the reason that people end up getting out is because they run out of money. It's the business model. So we've had a very disciplined campaign. And then the other part of it is understanding how to win the hearts and minds of voters in this country. And we have gone state by state. We have an incredible grassroots army. Ted built a grassroots army in Texas, or benefited from the hard work of the grassroots that were there. They became very, very active again when Ted ran in the Senate race, and we've seen that sweep across the country. And so that has been our strategy from day one.
What do you make of it when you hear your husband referred to as the establishment candidate? I don't think anybody who follows politics would have thought, looking at this race back in the beginning, well, it's probably going to come down to Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, and John Kasich will still be in there.
Well, the exciting thing about politics is you never know exactly what's going to happen. And this, for Ted and I, has been a really terrific experience so far, both for our family, for our marriage. It certainly deepened my faith, because I believe that we live in a country where God has blessed this country, looks upon this country as a place where we can experience individual liberty and freedom and fight for what is right. And so I am very at peace that the outcome of this race will be the right outcome for this country. Now, I hope it is. We have made wrong decisions before, so I know that that's possible. But I'm very at peace with the potential outcome.
So if you get to the convention in July, and it's, Donald Trump has 1150, it looks difficult for Ted Cruz to get 1237 at this point. So it appears that you guys are relying on something coming down to the convention. So if it's 1150 for Donald Trump, are you at peace with the idea that it's okay to start to kind of wrest that away from the person who has the most delegates at that point?
Well, what we have tried to do, what Ted and the campaign team have tried to do at the beginning of this campaign, is unify the Republican Party. And what's so exciting, Martha, is you never know how you're going to get there, because it's not our plan. It is a bigger plan. There's a lot of dynamics in a race you can't control. But when you've got the right candidate and the right people, things might turn out with the right result, but maybe in a different way than you exactly thought that you'd get there. You don't know what states you're going to win, you don't know what states you're going to lose, and you don't know what proportions. But we have been achieving exactly the goal that we set out to do, not dependent on any one state, but dependent on winning the Republican nomination for the voters in this country. And we have done that in the exact way that Ted said last March that we would, which is unifying the Republican Party. Do you know that 5 of the 17 candidates that started this race have endorsed our campaign? And a very wide spectrum. It's not just 5 amazing leaders. It's 5 people who have come together from different parts of our party, from Jeb Bush to Lindsey Graham to Rick Perry to Scott Walker to Carly Fiorina. You know, we have 2 little girls. Caroline just turned 8 and Catherine's 5. And their favorite part of the campaign is riding on the bus. And so they were on the bus and they started to notice that we've had a lot of really great friends from around the Republican Party on our bus. And they started asking them, why have you come on our bus? And I thought, what a great lesson in life. We have been able to unify this party and bring so many people on our bus. And you know, there might be times when we're on someone else's bus. But we have been able to bring so many of these great leaders on this bus because Ted has run a campaign that's exemplified by character, by focusing on the issues, by not engaging in the personal character assassinations. And by doing that, people have been
called
able
a lot of names, and it must be very difficult for all of the families that are involved in that part of the process. You have an amazing story yourself, and I don't know how many people know about your background, but you are managing director at Goldman Sachs in Houston, taking a break during the campaign period. Former political advisor to George W. Bush's presidential campaign. That's where you and Ted met, right, back in 2000. Yeah. And deputy to the National Security Advisor Condoleezza Rice. So what would be your priority if you were First Lady, given your really impressive resume?
Well, the least important thing in this campaign is my resume. I've had a very simplified job description, which has been really fun and somewhat relaxing, which is to tell this country who Ted Cruz is and the person that I know. And he's a person of principle, of discipline, a person.
You don't want it to be about you. You're very humble, but I do think it's important for people to know that you're a very strong woman who has a really impressive background. There's another strong woman who's involved in this race, Hillary Clinton, also has a very impressive resume. She was asked a question that sometimes women get asked, like, oh, you know, what do you carry in your bag? You know, you see those magazines where people dump out their bag. Oprah said, what's in your bag? So they asked Hillary, what's in your bag all the time? And here's what Hillary said.
What's something that you always carry with you?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Are you getting information right now?
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce in my bag, Swag?
Hot sauce.
Really?
Yes.
Now, listen, I just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working?
Is it working? She said at the end of that. Do you believe that she carries hot sauce in her bag? And what do you always have in your bag, Heidi?
Well, I always have in my bag a Starbucks instant coffee, a handful of almonds, and some lip gloss. So that's what I need.
That's a together woman. Do you believe that she carries hot sauce in her bag?
We should take her at her word. But there's so many important things we need to do for this country, and we're focused on getting Ted to be our Republican nominee. Should that be successful, I think we need to focus on our kids. I think we need to focus primarily on ensuring that every child in this country has the opportunity for a quality education. That is what's going to help people get ahead in this country, and we owe that to all the kids that are here. So I will be very singularly focused on school choice and also entrepreneurship.
Very much. It's great to have you with us today. I think it helps everybody to get to know the families and the wives and husbands in all of this. So thank you for your time. Good luck today.
Thank you, Martha. Thanks so much.
Good to see you.
Nice
Take
to
care.
see you.